that this persecution is being done by the same weaponized agencies that for 7 years have been running illegal psychological warfare campaigns against the American people, much as if they were trying to destabilize a foreign country. From the Russia hoax, to the no collusion Mueller witch hunt, to impeachment hoax number 1, impeachment hoax number 2, the 51 lying intelligence officers, how about them? They said it's Russia disinformation, and they knew it wasn't.
Well, it's former President Donald Trump yesterday evening, after being arrested and charged with 37 counts of federal crimes. And he is, of course, making his, appeal to the public and an interesting sign of what's to come, I guess, when it comes to the 2024 campaign. Welcome back. Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk. We got a lot to do here with the statements that the former president made and just exactly what he's going to be laying out here. Today, by the way, is his birthday. Not only is it Flag Day, but it is his birthday. So let's get into it. This is the former president last night after having to go to Miami to ultimately face those charges. And it's something I think that really shows just where we're at in this country on the questions of a two-tier justice system and something else that really is raising alarm for a lot of political observers. So let's hear the highlights of former President Donald Trump addressing supporters at an event after he had to fly from Miami back to Bedminster. And in front of supporters, he raised really, I think, is what's going to be his rallying cry as we further approach the 2024 presidential election.
Today we witness the most evil and heinous abuse of power in the history of our country. Very sad thing to watch. A corrupt sitting president had his top political opponent arrested on fake and fabricated charges of which he and numerous other presidents would be guilty, right in the middle of a presidential election in which he's losing very badly. This is called election interference and yet another attempt to rig and steal a presidential election. More importantly, it's a political persecution like something straight out of a fascist or communist nation. This day will go down in infamy, and Joe Biden will forever be remembered as not only the most corrupt president in the history of our country, but perhaps even more importantly, the president who, together with a band of his closest thugs, misfits, and Marxists, tried to destroy American democracy. But they will fail, and we will win bigger and better than ever before. They were full of newspapers, press clippings, thousands of pictures, thousands and thousands of White House pictures. The White House photographers, some are with us today. They took so many pictures, and we saved all of them, and they were in those boxes. Clothing, memorabilia, and much, much more. I hadn't had a chance to go through all the boxes. It's a long, tedious job, takes a long time, which I was prepared to do, but I have a very busy life. I've had a very busy life. They make it more busy because you're always fighting. And under the Sox decision, there seemed to be no rush. I wasn't in a rush because that decision was a law. Never before have the two standards of justice in our country been more starkly revealed. Joe Biden had troves of classified documents from his time as vice president and even as a senator, which was completely and totally illegal. In fact, other senators heard about it. Dick Durbin heard about it. You have to see his response. There's no way that's totally illegal. Took him as a senator out of a skiff. They were shocked when they found out. They actually thought it was impossible to do. Unlike me, who had absolute declassification authority as president, Joe Biden as vice president had no authority to declassify and no right to possess the documents. He had no right. Instead of falling under the Presidential Records Act, Biden's actions fell under a much stricter Federal Records Act, which has very, very tough criminal penalties, yet nothing happens to Crooked Joe. Nothing happened. Have you heard anything about the big search for his documents? No, only me. Most infamously of all, Hillary Clinton set up an illegal private server in her basement. You never heard this story.
And again, it's the former president at Bedminster addressing supporters. We'll hear more of the president coming up here. Stay tuned. It is Springfield's Morning News on WMAY. You can always chime in live and local if you're into it at 217-629-7970. Again, 217-629-7970. It is Springfield's Morning News, now 6:17. And stay tuned. We got more coming up. We're getting some of the highlights of former President Donald Trump addressing supporters after he was arrested yesterday and the day before his birthday. Today's his birthday. It's also Flag Day. Interesting. Of course, we had all the headlines from last week when he revealed that, but he also talked about how former Vice President Joe Biden, now president, he says that there's indication he's corrupt and allegations that he's corrupt, taking bribes and divvying it out to the Biden family. So we'll hear more from Trump, but President Joe Biden, he was giving an address about Juneteenth last night about the same time. There was an interesting chyron, the lower third of a Fox News frame, that said something to the effect of, a dictator and a former president, top challenger. We're in a really bizarre time right now. And I think it's something that we all have to kind of step back and take a look at things. Governor J.B. Pritzker was asked about this yesterday afternoon after former President Trump turned himself in. And here's what J.B. Pritzker had to say in response to what happened yesterday.
Well, look, it looks to me like he committed espionage. We'll have to see how the trial goes. But everybody should be held accountable to the law. It doesn't matter what position you ever held. The fact is that the law is the law. If you broke the law, you ought to be held accountable.
Thank you so much. So again, Governor J.B. Pritzker saying that it looks like Trump committed sabotage, or not sabotage, but espionage. And that's one of the allegations, I guess, in the Espionage Act. So what's President Trump have to say about all of this? We continue with reviewing some of what he had to say. And, of course, he acknowledged last night after people started singing happy birthday that, indeed, it was his birthday. Here is the former president.
Thank you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Great birthday. Nice birthday, isn't it? Nice birthday. Wonderful birthday. They were saying happy birthday. I was with Eric and Laura, the kids. Happy birthday, Grandpa. Happy. And I said, oh, great. I just got charged with, they want 400 years approximately. If you add them all up, a fake 400 years. Oh, thank you, darling. That's so nice. It's a wonderful birthday. Oh, we're going to make it into the greatest birthday of all. We'll make it into the greatest of all. The prosecutor in the case, I will call it our case, is a thug. I've named him Deranged Jack Smith. I wonder what his name used to be, Jack Smith. It sounds so innocent, doesn't it? Jack Smith. What's his name? Jack Smith. He's a very nice man. He's a behind-the-scenes guy, but his record is absolutely atrocious. He does political hit jobs. He's been known to viciously arrest a certain governor. You know the governor, Bob McDonnell of Virginia, and absolutely ruined his life and the life of his family. All these wonderful family members, I knew them, only to have the case overturned 8-0 by the Supreme Court. He destroyed that man and he destroyed that family. And by the way, I will tell you, I'm here and I love you all, and we can take it. But what these thugs have done to my family is a disgrace. I will tell you that. And I say it to all of the fake news because there's a lot of it back there. Don't forget this persecution is being done by the same weaponized agencies that for 7 years have been running illegal psychological warfare campaigns against the American people, much as if they were trying to destabilize a foreign country. From the Russia hoax to the no collusion Mueller witch hunt, to impeachment hoax number 1, impeachment hoax number 2, the 51 lying intelligence offers, how about them? They said it's Russia disinformation, and they knew it wasn't, which made about, according to some of the great pollsters that are right here, made from anywhere from a 10 to 17 point difference, and yet we still got more votes than any sitting president in history in the second election. It's all been a battle of disinformation, one thing after the other, and all to protect the radical left misfits. It's also no coincidence that these charges against me came down the very same day. Evidence revealed Joe Biden took a $5 million bribe from Ukraine. Took a $5 million bribe. But the FBI and the Justice Department don't even want to talk about it. They showed something on television tonight. It had 0 time on the 3 major networks, 0. But my impeachment had almost all the time. I think I had 351 minutes. They had no minutes. Joe Biden and the radical left can take foreign bribes and be totally protected. Republicans all, you must finally get tough. You've got to get tough. You got to get tough, and you got to show them. If the communists get away with this, it won't stop with me. They will not hesitate to ramp up their persecution of Christians, pro-life activists, parents attending school board meetings, and even future Republican candidates, which they do. We must end it permanently, and we must end it immediately. Now that the seal, so important, is broken, the seal is broken by what they've done. They should never have done this. This was an unwritten rule. You just don't. Unless it's really bad. But you just don't. But the seal is now broken. In addition to closing the border and removing all of the criminal elements that have illegally invaded our country, making America energy independent and even dominant again, and immediately ending the war between Russia and Ukraine, I'll have it ended in 24 hours. I will appoint a real special prosecutor to go after the most corrupt president in the history of the United States of America, Joe Biden, and the entire Biden crime family. Name a special prosecutor. And all others involved with the destruction of our elections, our borders, and our country itself. They're destroying our country. And when I'm reelected, and we will get reelected, we have no choice. We're not going to have a country anymore. I will totally obliterate the deep state. We will obliterate the deep state. And we know who they are. I know exactly who they are. They want to take away my freedom because I will never let them take away your freedom. It's very simple. They want to silence me because I will never let them silence you. They want you silent. And I am the only one that can save this nation because you know they're not coming after me, they're coming after you, and I just happen to be standing in their way, and I will never be moving. On November 5th, 2024, justice will be done. We will take back our country, and we will make America great again. Thank you. God bless you all. Thank you. Thank you very much. Great job.
Again, former President Donald Trump last night, some of the highlights of his speech. And I wanted to re-air one particular element here that I thought was pretty telling as to at least the president's mindset here. And this is essentially him saying that the past 7 years or so, there's been a psychological operation conducted on the United States by the intelligence community. Here is the former president.
Don't forget this persecution is being done by the same weaponized agencies that for 7 years have been running illegal psychological warfare campaigns against the American people, much as if they were trying to destabilize a foreign country. From the Russia hoax to the no collusion Mueller witch hunt.
And he goes on from there, but he was the president. He knew how psychological operations are used by the U.S. intelligence community or other Western intelligence communities against certain countries to spur chaos and sow disinformation and discord and discontent. It's a tactic that is part of the intelligence playbook, and it's a psychological operation, a psyop. So the former president making that clear in his speech, at least that's his perspective as to what's happened here in this country the past 7 years. I think it's rather fascinating, and we're going to be watching all of this unfold in front of our very eyes in the next 2 years as we rapidly approach the election and the post-election and whatever ultimately happens thereafter.